So for page 1, you're going to need your base page that measures 6.5 by 7, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the 7-inch side, so that you are creating a 6.5 by 6.5 inch square. Then you're going to attach a piece that measures 11 by 6.5, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the 11-inch side, and then also at 6 7/8. So it measures 11 by 6.5, and you're going to score it at 1/2 and at 6 7/8. And we are going to attach this on the side of that does not have the hinge. So this hinge is going to attach over here on the side that does not have the hinge that hinges to the book. So we're just going to remove a little bit of the backing, and we're going to line it up to the outer edge of our page because it's not your full 6.5. So we're going to line it up to this side of the page. And I've just removed a little bit of my backing so that I can make sure to get it straight before I remove it all. All right, so now that we've got this piece attached, we are going to attach a pocket to this piece. It's going to be an acetate pocket with a frame around it. So we're going to attach it right here to this the top of this little flap here. All right, so I've got my piece here for the pocket. It measures 4 3/4 by 7 1/4, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides, so 1 long and 2 short. So you're going to score 1/2 inch, flip it, 1/2 inch, flip it, 1/2 inch, and one of the long sides is not going to have a score mark. So the first thing we need to do is we need to attach our frame pieces around so that we know our little guidelines. So you've seen me do this quite a few times now, but I'm just going to show you. I have one piece that measures 6 inches by 1/2 inch and one piece that measures 4 inches by 1/2 inch, and you're going to need 2 of each for this frame. All right, so now you're just gonna line them up corner to corner just like this, and then we are going to cut from this corner up to that corner, just like so. And it's important that you keep the pieces together that you've cut because they're gonna have the exact same angles. So make sure to keep those pieces together. All right, so now we're gonna do this side. So we're picking up the one that we just cut, and we're gonna do this side now. All right, so now we've got to glue on that frame around our piece here. So I always start with the top piece because I can just make sure it's nice and centered in there, and then I kind of work off of that. And I'm just using some tacky glue. And you're going to try to keep it the same distance from the sides and the top, so about 1/4 inch, just like this. All right, so now that we've got our little frame pieces attached, you're going to need a craft knife and a metal ruler, and we are just going to cut out the center of our frame, and we are going to leave about 1/8 of an inch from the side of the piece of paper that we put down and our ruler. And you're just going to start about 1/8 of an inch from the top, and you're going to run your ruler, or sorry, run your craft knife all the way down till you're about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom here. So we start there and we run it down to there. This one needs to go a little bit further. Just like so. And then I'm just going to go around just like that. So we've got our frame all cut out, and I've attached some 3/8 score tape to all our flaps. And on the back here, I've attached 1/4 inch score tape all the way around our frame here. So I'm just going to remove the backings. And we're going to attach our piece of acetate that measures 4 by 6. And just place it down, make sure to do it carefully. All right, and now we're gonna take our scissors and we are going to just cut across here, just like that, just so our little pocket folds properly. All right, so now we're gonna bring back in our page. So this is the base page, and then we attach the 11-inch section here, and then this part folds back like this, and now this is where our frame is going to go. So before we attach our frame, I have cut a piece of the pink pattern paper from the solids that come with the solids collection for the wedding day collection, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back, and then I'm just going to attach it to here just before I add my frame. All right, so I'm going to just remove a little bit of the backing of my bottom flap first of my frame, and I'm just gonna bend it back. And then I am going to line up my pocket. So it's important to note my pocket measures 6 1/4 wide once my flaps are in, and this measures 6 1/2. So you're going to be lining it up with 1/8 of an inch still showing on both sides of this piece here. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm lining it up with the bottom of this flap, not of my main page, because if you remember, our main page is 1/8 of an inch larger than this flap here. All right. So all the way down. And then once you've got it positioned, you can press down there and then just remove the rest of that backing and press down here. And then we'll just open it up and remove our backings here. And then we will just bring the pocket down. Perfect, just like that. All right, so now there's our little pocket attached. So now if we flip over to this back side here, we're going to have a flap that comes off of this section here. And the flap measures 4 3/4 by 6 1/2, and you're gonna score 1/2 an inch on the 4 3/4 side. And it's just going to get attached right here, just like that. So again, I'm just going to remove a little bit more of my backing. And I'm going to line it up with my page, and it should be the exact same size as what we're attaching it to. All right, so now this has a pocket on top of it going like this. And I've just used a die. It's an old Elizabeth Crafts die, and if I can find it to link it underneath here, I will, but I think it might be retired. This is what it looks like, and it cuts this as well as, oh sorry, it's right on top of the black cardstock, that might not show. So it cuts this, as well as if you cut it on top of here, it gives you this shape because it doesn't cut all the way out at the bottom. I'll try to find it to link it below. All right, so this is gonna get attached right on top of this flap here. So I'm just gonna remove one side of my backing completely, and we're gonna line it up all the way to the bottom, and it should fit perfectly because it is 4 1/4 inches wide. All right, so now we're just gonna remove the bottom backing and the side. And we will close that up. All right, so if we flip this open, this is gonna be a photo mat spot and a photo mat spot. But on this section here, we're going to add a pocket. And our pocket measures 7 1/4 wide by 3 3/4 tall. And you're gonna score it 1/2 inch on 2 of the long sides and 1/2 inch on one of the short sides. And then we're just going to attach it down here, and we're gonna line it up with the outer edge here, not close to our score line here. So again, we need to just trim this off, just go across there. And I'm using 3/8 of an inch score tape throughout this book, unless I say otherwise, and that would be when I'm using the 1/4 inch tape. All right, and like I said, I'm just lining it up with my outer edge here. Just like so. And then we will open it up and remove the backings. And just bring that in nice and neat and attach it down. All right, so now we're going to close up this section, and we are going to open it, and we are going to put a pocket right in here. So I'm just going to attach my score tape. And this pocket is identical to the other one, so it measures 7 1/4 by 3 3/4, and you're going to score a 1/2 inch on 2 of the long sides and a 1/2 inch on one of the short sides. And we'll just go ahead and fold this in, just like so, and then we will just trim those corners off, and again we will line it up with this edge here. So for this pocket, we're going to line it up to this hinge here, because this one is the one that attaches to our book, and I don't want it right butted up against the hinge of our book, because I want a little bit more room for our book to open and close there. So we're going to leave it about 1/8 of an inch from this hinge here. And then we can remove the backing. fold that down. We've got that all nice and attached. All right, so now we are going to flip. So this is the whole first page with the pocket, and then the opening with the pocket, and here's just going to be room for photos. And so we are going to flip over to the other side. So now we're back to working on our base page on this side here. So this page is going to have a 3x4 waterfall, and our waterfall pieces measure 4 3/4 by 4. So this page is going to have a 3x4 waterfall. So our pieces are going to measure 4 3/4 by 3 1/4, and you're going to score them in 1/2 inch on the 4 3/4 side. And you are going to need 5 pieces. So we are just going to attach it all the way into this corner here, so it's completely even with the side of our book. And you want to make sure to get the first one really nice and straight, because it's going to be the ones that they all line up to. And we're going to attach our second one right underneath that one. Remove the backing. And I always like to close them up to make sure they're still nice and straight. We've got them all attached. So now I'm going to attach my little closure piece down here, and this piece measures 5 inches by 1.5 inches, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the 5-inch side. So we're just going to remove our backing and bend that down, and then just line it up where you want it and press it down there. And then we're going to attach a magnetic closure to that, and this side here will just be a photo space or a journaling space, whichever one. All right, so that's page 1 done, and you're going to make another page just like this one. All right, so we're going to set that one aside. So for our second page style, you're going to need another base page that measures 7 by 6.5, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch on the 7-inch side. And this page is going to have 2 5.5 inch by 5.5 inch flaps coming in from both sides. So you're just going to center them on the page. So the page measures, or the flaps measure, 5.5 by 6, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on the 6-inch side. And we're just going to start with this one. And we are going to line it up about 1/8 inch from our hinge here, because we never ever want to touch that hinge with our scored line. And the further away you can stay from it, the better. And I'm just leaving about 1/2 inch on the top and bottom. So then I'll remove the rest of my backing, and I'm going to open that one up. And I'm going to take my next piece, and I'm again going to remove a bit of my backing, and I'm going to close this one so that I can make sure they're lined up. And again, I'm going to leave about 1/8 inch between the front of my page and my hinge attaching here. And then I'm going to take another one. So same size and everything, and I'm going to remove some of my backing again, and I am going to line it up right on top of the other 5.5 inch flap that we just did. So right directly on top of it, remove the backing, and then I'm going to go over here to the other side again, and I am going to do the same thing and attach this one again right on top of that piece there. Just like so. Bring it down, remove the rest of that backing, and press it down. So it will go down like this. We will fold in this side, this side, this side, and this side. Or you could probably do it the other way because it'll stay closed better that way and have this hinge land on top. Alright, so that is our first side of our page. Now the next one, we are going to have some 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch flaps, and it's going to be a very similar process except your actual flaps are a different size. So this one measures 6 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you're going to score 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 inch side. And we're just going to remove a little bit of our backing, and you're going to line this one up all the way to the corner and all the way to the side, just like so. And then remove your backing, and then open that one up, and there's 4 of these flaps on this page. Alright, so we're going to bring this one in, and again we are going to stay away about 1/8 of an inch from our hinge here. So remove a little bit of the backing, and this time we're not lining it up with this piece here. We're going all the way to the bottom, but we're leaving about 1/8 of an inch from our hinge. Alright. Then just remove the rest of that backing. And then open that one up, and then we'll go back over here, and again we'll just attach the other one right on top of that one. Lots of photo space just on this one page style, so that's really cool. Alright, and then we'll do the same thing over here. So just line it up right on top. Just like so. And then just press it down. So again, it will come in like this, and like this, and like this, and then like that. Alright, so now let's attach our pages into our book. Alright, so let's get our album cover done. So I've got 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 black cardstock, and I'm just attaching a piece of 1/4 inch score tape, and we're just going to attach these 2 together just like that. And then I've got 2 pieces of chipboard that measures 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, and I've got one that measures 2.5 by 6 3/4, and it is the medium weight. So we're just gonna take our 2.5 inch piece, so our spine, and we're gonna attach it down right in the center where our 2 pieces of cardstock meet, just like so. And then we'll take our next one and attach it down as well. And we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch of space between our 2 pieces of chipboard, just like so. You can't leave too much and you can't leave too little. It has to be right in that 1/8 of an inch range. And now we will do the next one. And again, we're going to leave that eighth of an inch space. And now we can flip this over and just give it a good press down. Bring it back over. And now I'm going to cut off this side, leaving about an inch of my paper. Same thing here. And now we're going to fold it all up. Again, just train that paper first before you decide to fold it over. And I'm just going to go and do that all the way around. Alright, so we've got it all folded in. So now I'm going to add my score tape all along my chipboard and all along my cardstock. Alright, so now we can just go ahead and burnish down all of our tape. Just like so. Alright, so now we're going to cut out all the corners, and I'm going to go in at an angle from this side and an angle from this side, not all the way to my chipboard, about a 1/16 of an inch from where the chipboard meets the paper. Alright, so now I'm going to remove 2 short sides of my backings and my 2 long sides here. And I'm just going to start in the middle and then just smooth it out because we have already pre-folded, so it's just going to go down right where we had it. So now we're just removing the other 2 long sides down here. Again, just fold it down and then just smooth it out to the sides there. And now we will do one of our longs, and we will do one of our short sides. Let's burnish that down nicely. Alright, so that's all on now. And I'm just going to make a little indentation there where our pieces meet, just like so. So now I'm using the black masking tape to cover where my chipboard meets, but I'm actually just going to cover where the cardstock isn't covering, because I don't want to have the tape too far up and then have it showing beyond my hinges, because my pages are 6.5. Let's cut this straight. in there nicely, and then fold up the book, and we've got our adorable little book ready for the pages. So let's grab our pages. So I want the order of my pages to go with one of the acetate pocket pages at the front, and then the next one would be the 5.5 by 5.5 flaps, and then another acetate pocket, and then another 5.5 by 5.5 flap. But I'm going to start from the back and work my way forward. So I'm going to remove a little bit of the backing of my first page section here, and I'm going to line it up, leaving an eighth of an inch from the top and bottom, and just beyond my score line. So now we can remove the rest of our backing and press that down, and then we can open it up and get our bone folder and give that a nice reinforcing, just like so. All right, and now we can attach our second page from the back. So this would technically be the third page, and we're just going to go ahead and line it up right with the other one. All right, and that looks good, so we can remove the backing on that one and press it down, and then we'll open it up, and again just nicely reinforce that, and we will do the rest the same way until we get to the front. Alright, so we've got all of our pages attached here now. So now we're going to work on our inside front cover. And our inside front cover is going to have a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 waterfall, but it is going to be on a belly band. So we're going to put our belly band down first, and then we're going to slide a piece of pattern paper on underneath it so that our inserts can slide easily in and out. So our belly band piece measures 7 5/8 by 4 1/4, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch on both sides. So instead of trying to figure out the measurements, just score it at 1/2 inch, flip it, and score it 1/2 inch, and it's going to be perfect. So 7 5/8 by 4 1/4, scored 1/2 inch on both sides. All right, so I'm going to remove a little bit of my flap here, of my backing, sorry, and I'm going to line it up where I want it, mostly centered, but right there is good. And then I'm going to remove my backing, and I am going to remove the backing down here, and then just press that down as well. And I'm going to make sure that my piece slides easily back here before I actually add my glue. Alright, so I'm just using the tacky glue here, and I'm just going to slide this piece in behind that belly band. Alright, perfect. Give it a good press down. Alright, so now I've got my waterfall pieces here. And our waterfall pieces measure 4 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you're going to score 1/2 inch on the 4 3/4 side. And you need 5 of them. So just remove a bit of your backing and line it up all the way to the top of your waterfall, and it should be even on both sides And then we're just gonna go down just like that. All right, so we've got our waterfall pieces all attached. And now we're gonna add our little closure piece, and our closure piece measures 5 by 1.5, scored at 1/2 inch on the 5-inch side. And we are just going to attach it down here about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. And then we are just going to close that up with a magnet, and then we'll be able to slide a couple inserts in behind there. And the back cover, I am just going to put some pattern paper and leave it plain because I need it to be able to slide into the top of our box in the belly band that we're going to create for that. So let's put our book aside for a second. So I've got my drawer here, and I've covered it on the inside and all around the outside, so it's ready to go. Okay, so our final step of the construction process is to add the little belly band that goes on the top of the box for the album to slide into. So this piece measures 8.5 by 3, and I've scored it at 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 of an inch on both sides. So that's going to give us a 1/4 inch little gusset to hold our little album in. So I'm going to remove the backing of one of my sides, and I'm going to go ahead and press it down like that. And I'm going to line it up on top of my box, just like this, going all the way to the edge. And then once I have it where I want it, I'll press it down and remove the rest of my backing. And then I'll come down here and I'll remove this backing. And then I will bring it and try to keep this side as square as possible. So just flatten that out and then press this side down, and then we'll bring both sides back up, and then that's going to give us enough room to slide our book inside there easily with the rest of our little doodads we're going to put on the book, and with more than enough room for that. All right, so that is the end of the construction process. Everything else you'll be able to see in the walkthrough, just how I matted all the pieces and everything like that. So please subscribe and give me the thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon.